Okay, we are back again, and now we're going to look at this solve for x problem. If you look at it, it's already factorized for you. You have it that way, and already in your mind you're thinking that I'm just going to say the first factor, 2x minus 1 will give me a 15, or the other factor, which is x plus 3, will give me a 15. And this is very wrong. It's actually wrong to do that. The rule simply says that if a multiplied by b is equals to 0, that's the only time you can have a being equals to 0, or the other term b being the one which is 0. Otherwise it will never work. If your right hand side, the right hand side must always be equals to 0 in order for you to say that. Now look at the one you were given. The right hand side is actually 15. Okay, so that is why you cannot do this. Now let us go ahead and find the correct answer for this one. We need to expand. Firstly, we'll take this term multiplied by that using the FOIL method, and these two, and lastly we need to take that 15 to the left hand side. Okay, let us go ahead and do that. We then have that this times that, which gives us 2x squared. This times that, it gives us a positive 6x. Negative 1 times x is negative x. Negative 1 times 3, which gives us a negative 3. Now remember, we need to take the 15 to the left hand side. But then the 15 was positive on the right hand side. As soon as we bring it to this side, it becomes negative. So we'll then have negative 15, which is equals to 0. Now we collect like terms. We can see we have an x here, we have an x there, and we have those two constants there. So the 2x squared doesn't add to anything. Then positive 6x minus x gives us a positive 5x. Then negative 3 minus 15, it gives us a negative 18, which is equals to 0. From there we factorize. We know that this must be a linear factor, so we split this apart. We have a 2x and an x. Now we need to find the factors of 18. Remember, 18 can be made by 18 multiplied by 1, can also be made by 2 multiplied by 9, can also have it by 3 multiplied by 6, right? Because it's 6, 12, 18. So now we need to find the factors amongst these three, which will allow us to get the middle value if we add or subtract them. But when we multiply them, they give us the last term. Let us go ahead. Looking at them, I'm already seeing that if I take a 9 and a 2, and I have the 2 this side, I have the 9 this side, which must be equals to 0. The sign tells us that the signs must not be the same, right? The bigger factor must take the sign in the middle, and the bigger factor between the two is that positive 9. So we have a plus and we have a minus. How can we prove that our factors are correct? By using the inners and outers method. Take the outer two factors, multiply them together, the outer two terms, and take the inner two terms. So the outer two terms, negative 2 times 2x gives us minus 4x. Positive 9 times x gives us what? It gives us positive 9x. We get a positive 9x there. And then negative 4x plus 9x is what? Is 5x. And what's that 5x? The 5x is actually that middle term we have there. So finally, we can therefore go back to our rule, which says that if we have two factors such that we have a multiplied by b being equals to 0, remember our a is the whole of this factor, our b is the whole of that one. We can therefore say 2x plus 9 is equals to 0, because now the right hand side is 0. So it allows us, and x minus 2 is equals to 0, right? And finally we can see that our values, it's actually x is equals to negative 9 over 2, or the other one, which is x is equals to 2. So those are the two values which will satisfy that equation. You got it? Now here's one to try.